bot.
You got to send the bot, right? Okay.
We're live.
Are we?
Yeah, we're live.
All right, let's see. Okay, so how do I know? I go to. We're live with no people. That's awesome.
We're hanging out.
All right, well, we'll just hang out. So that's totally cool. So, yay! Welcome somebody. How come I don't know who it is? Nick's teaching me how to multi-channel live stream, you guys. So this is a work in progress with a little instructional training from my friend Nick. If you guys don't know Nick, Nick Ponte, please meet all 11 people. So awesome. All right, Nick. So I see that there are people here and some Facebook Live. Hey, Scott Meadows. If I hover over the little eye, I see like viewers. But how do I? Yeah, it's cool. It's weird. It says like I see Facebook user. Somebody says, "What's up, Brian?" Unfortunately, I don't know who it is because it doesn't show me your name. So that may have been a setup issue on my end.
No, it's so when people see the live stream on whatever platform they're
that's what I see.
Viewing from, they need to log into StreamYard and then it'll show their name.
Oh, okay. All right. So case in point, hey, Jeff Klein. Jeff, I was just thinking about you, man. I saw a girl wearing a Duke shirt today at church and Duke sweatshirt. And I was like, Florida State got robbed in that game the other day, dude. All right, awesome. Hola. I like I like this button. This is great. What a great service. Man, what a good idea, huh? I've used a bunch of these and most of them never really work well. This one seemed pretty simple.
We've used several too, and Be Live was the old one that we used to use, and that one got kind of glitchy.
All right. Well, yeah, we were doing a kind of a fireside chat. I actually had the fireplace on, and because I was so.
Let me turn it on real quick.
What? You really don't? How hot is it in Hawaii right now?
I'm gonna turn mine on. I have my TV right there. I'm gonna turn the fire on.
All right. What's the weather in Maui?
It's hot. It's hot. It's like 96.
Oh, geez. It's like 45 here. It's hot where Jeff is too. Jeff's in Florida, but one of those. Cool. So, all right. So I'm learning how to use this. So Nick, all right, we've connected a few channels. We've got it live. I figured out how to get our names on. I got to work on some branding. However, it's pretty easy, right? I mean, this is it. Is there, what does this do? Straight up, you guys, this is, how about that? This is an example of a banner. Click a banner, show it on the screen. How about, let's make a banner. All right. This is for Jeff. Let's see. No, this is cool. I actually like this. I mean, you could easily put a link on. You could do super cool. Well, hey, so earlier today I was doing a broadcast. What got me all excited with Nick, impromptu. He got me out of some chores, which was really awesome. And for real. And we're talking about medical marketing. We were talking about our product, our email-centric method to kind of land clients and get leads. That's called Lead Factory. We chatted a little bit, too brief, I thought, about Agency Growth Machine, which is a product that you guys have. And I don't know another way to describe it without calling it by your product name, but net out what you're doing for clients with that. I mean, that is I like to call it the directory site plus postcards, or is that not direct mail and directory site?
Yeah.
What's like the non-internet marketing description of what you're really doing?
Yeah. Well, it's evolved quite a bit. I mean, in a nutshell, it's, we've kind of identified that without having ways to speak with business owners, a system to speak with business owners, to book more appointments or fill your calendar with appointments, you're probably not going to be doing a very good job in terms of bringing in more money, more revenue to your business. So, and for a lot of people, the pain point with that is having to go out and talk to businesses, right? Like walk into them, cold call them, door knock them, whatever. So what we started to do was create these influencer websites. That's what we call them, influencer websites.
Influencer websites. I like it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And basically, we've created this software that goes with it where you are really quickly able to pull all these businesses from Google Maps and just immediately populate your influencer website with their information. So everybody gets a listing. They get, their pin goes on your map or your website. You get their name, their address, their phone number, and that's a free listing. And so what we have is kind of a unique prospecting method to let these business owners know that they have a free listing on our site and it's live. And we want to let them know that it's there. And just to confirm that we have the correct business information because it's live, we're reaching out. And it's just a non-salesy way to come in and start a discussion with the business owner. Now, there are a bunch of things that you can do at that point, but at this point, you've given something to them for free, right? Like you're giving them value, giving them perceived value. It didn't really cost you anything. But you're in a position to start a discussion, right? And if you're the type of person that has to, it's difficult for you to start the discussion with somebody. It's different if you have this community resource that you're talking about, right? It's a thing that's in your community, it's live in your area, you're helping local business and you're talking about it. It just puts you in a different position to have a different type of conversation than just trying to sell somebody something out of the gate. You know what I mean?
Totally get that. Yeah. No, I love it. I ended up getting access to it from Tom 6-8 months ago, and I haven't used it. I've been really dialed into what I'm doing, but it's cool. I love it. It's an easy way, kind of like what Ron said. He said, I have several directories. I've even used it to build an e-com site for a music store. I've got a membership site for the Rotary and a multi-location site for a motorcycle shop. But that was super cool, Ron.
Ron's crushing it. Ron is, and he's in the Philippines. So he's in the Philippines. People ask, where does this work? If the businesses that you're trying to prospect are in Google, that's where it'll work.
And it works.
You're basically everywhere, right? So, I think what Ron has done in a lot of ways, he's one of those guys that's out there just taking action in all different sorts of ways, right? He's coming up with all these creative ways with the membership site for the Rotary.
That's awesome. Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. But the other thing that is cool, and I know that Ron is doing this too, is we have, instead of like just a free listing, we also have premium listings. So the difference between those two things is we have a way to give people even more value. So if we take them from a free listing and we want to upgrade them to a premium listing, then we're giving them more information. It opens up more functionality. They can add a video to their listing. They can put slideshows. Sure. If you're doing different types of services, you can put coupons to those clients or different things on those specific pages. And again, it's a way that you can give away some value. It's almost like a currency, right? Because we put $197 annual value on one of those listings. Now, it didn't cost you to create that listing, but you can give that value away. So if you're selling something like messenger marketing or email marketing or any of those types of things, and you need a deal sweetener to help somebody kind of knock them off the ledge and bring them on your sphere of influence, we're going to give you another $197 value with the premium listing, just to let you know that we're serious and working with you, and we want to increase your visibility and your exposure. So just another form of goodwill.
Yeah, I love it. What do you guys think? This is more of a test go live right now, and we thought we'd do some Q&A and honestly just real casual chat. So I personally think it's brilliant. Totally brilliant. Wait a minute. So yeah, you know what? It's not part of our lead product. However, I'll get some info and share it with you guys. But no, Lead Factory's designed about landing the client. Everything we did in there is email based. What else? Email based in multiple markets with a landing page and with a strategy session to take away the pain of sales as well. I mean, that was our logic there. Ron just said, I'm going to pop this up on the screen since I know how now. I'm now selling sponsorships for the business directories. Ron, do I say it right? I have a hotel in Davao here who wants to rent the site and get primary focus on their hotel. I get all the marketing leads from it. Hopefully it will close down soon. I think that's phenomenal. It sounds like you really are killing it. Nick, I'd agree.
He's doing all kinds of stuff. And pairing Lead Factory with AGM is really easy to do. It's, if you're using Lead Factory, it's all about the sequencing and the follow-up and the strategy sessions. So, now if you want to add AGM into that mix, so through your email outreach, now you have these free and premium listings that you can give away as well. So it really becomes just more goodwill that you can put out there, more value that you can offer to hotels or restaurants or whoever you're prospecting to through the email. So it's just something else that you can do to set yourself apart.
No, super cool. Yeah, Ron gave us some good feedback. There are a few other people that said nice things as well, but love Lead Factory. Ron said it prompts my imagination. And yeah, I mean, the idea is, how do you get into that sales situation without it feeling like sales and without all the other ways of prospecting? And that's all we're really doing. Nothing magical, you guys. Anybody, any questions while I have Nick here just for a few minutes as a guest, as he helped me set this thing up? Anybody have a question for Nick? Nick Ponte, marketing on the island of Maui. If you live in Maui, he doesn't want to talk to you, but otherwise you're good. So, anybody, we'll grill him. Nick, here's a good question. And it just came through the private chat. Hang on, John. How'd you get started? What made you, what got you from what you were doing before to maybe the first thing you dabbled with? Was it a friend or a product? What was your entree, so to speak?
Whoa. Okay. So,
you don't have to. Yeah, you don't make it an hour. I'm sorry.
No. Okay. All right.
I feel bad if it wasn't okay.
No, I was just thinking where to start. So 3 years ago, I've been in this for about 3 years, and I was working automotive technician, mechanic, you can call it. I like to say auto tech, makes me sound a little cooler, right? Right. But yeah, my boss at the time, he didn't have a website, and he had a really good show. And
I knew that. Okay, I knew this.
Yeah, and I was like, why don't you have a website? And I didn't know how to build websites, but I had a suspicion that I could figure it out. And that's really where
if you can fix a car, you can do a website, I promise.
Exactly. So that's where it started, right? I built him a website, and it was pretty easy. And I started thinking, like, there's got to be other people out there that need this, especially here on this island, And truth be told, it was pretty easy once you start to take action and do some outreach. You can get some clients pretty quickly if you really do it. And that's really how it started. I mean, I got my first client, I got my second client. By the fourth or fifth client, the people that I'd already helped started really referring business to me. And not long after that, I was like, I don't think I'm going to work on cars anymore, because I can work from home. Right? It
was that fast, Nick?
Yeah, it was crazy. Because the other thing is like, I got into that because it was my passion, right? I actually liked working on cars, but once I started doing it for a living, I ended up hating it. Like, I didn't want to go to work. I didn't work on my own cars anymore. I didn't do any of that. Like, my own cars went to shit. Like, the car mechanic's car is the last one to get fixed. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
all right, unrelated to marketing. Wait a minute. So the computerization of all the cars nowadays, I don't know when it started, maybe late 90s, early 2000s, but is it completely different? Like, if I gave you a 1982 Ford F-150, that versus something of today, is it like night and day?
Yeah, it's stupid. What'd you say?
I said, is it easier with the computer nowadays, or just different?
It's different. With the computers, like, I mean, you look at like your car, Brian. I mean, so much of that is
I
run
can't
on.
even imagine. I can barely drive it, Nick, let alone
Yeah.
work on it.
Yeah. Well, exactly. So, I mean, so much of that comfort is all run off of the computer and sensory and all that stuff, right? And when you plug in a computer to that computer, it's literally like having your MacBook hooked up to your car. Like now I can adjust the volumes and change the settings and the brightnesses and like in your car, I can tighten up the suspension. I can make the shocks get in the sport mode and all that stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah, Mike Benoit says night and day. Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah,
my brother had a
car too. So
my brother had a '67 F250 small block a thing, small block engine, I think. I think it was a small block or something. But anyway, he was working on it all the time. Put him on the screen.
Look at him.
I love it.
That picture is from when we launched our first product together.
That's a good picture. All right, well, we won't keep you, but I really appreciate you teaching me how to do it and jumping on. But no, yeah. I can imagine it's completely different. Well, Georgia is definitely truck country. That is for sure. Sid Michael and I had these 2 car dealerships. We really should have called it a truck dealership because all we sold were diesel trucks.
Wow.
4 or 5 years old because they're so expensive, which I never knew at the time. And they're so expensive, and people will buy them old because the engines, I guess, the cars just run forever. Mm-hmm. And we'd sell like 25, 30 vehicles a month. If it was 30, I bet 20, 25 were diesel trucks. Wow. And then the rest, we'd get a random few cars or so.
That's kind of same with like VWs and stuff. I mean, they make these diesel engines that just kind of last forever. And there's a huge market for people that are just, diesel. They love the diesel. But yeah, that's cool. Sid has some cool cars. I've seen
Sid. I have like 4 cars here, and I mostly drive the BMW, but sometimes I got this old convertible Lexus. It's an SC430. I stole, it was my dealership, so it's not stealing, but I took it home one day and never brought it back. So I don't, I guess it's stealing. I mean, I took it home, I put the title in my name, and that was that. It had 35,000 miles. This is 2015. It was a 03 with 35,000 red convertible Lexus in perfect shape. And wow. I'm like, they traded it in to buy my old BMW. And I'm like, yes, I will sell you my BMW. And yes, I will take that vehicle home and it will never really stay on the lot. And I did. And it only has 58,000 now, a few years later. It's just kind of for fun. Sid has, he's got a 740. He had a 740 BMW, some crazy Cadillacs with the suicide doors. He has one of those.
I saw that.
He's got like an F250, like a new truck, and some other things. But wait a minute. I love it. Somebody just said my next car is the Tesla. And it really is an electric rocket, which is what Mike said. I agree. I was in it. If you're fat, guys, that on your face goes back. What about you, Nick? If you get in a Tesla and they gun it, do you feel it?
Oh yeah. No, I thought I was going to get in a car accident when I was test driving one with the guy down in Waikiki, and he was like, "Hold on to yourself," and he just like,
I'm like, whatever. The first time I heard that, yeah,
ludicrous speed they call it, right?
I know it's crazy. So Mike said he learned HTML. Mike, did you build the site from scratch and move it to #1, or did you just improve it? A lot of feedback on the Tesla. We're getting a lot of the Tesla generating some messages and comments here. No, super cool. Yeah, like my first thing was a website too for a buddy's a guy I was rooming with right after college. His dad was a dentist in Bradenton, Florida, and there was nobody really had websites, and so we saw. I mean, I was an assembler programmer. That had by no means does that make me qualified to make a website. And page at the time and mocked it up. And I mean, it wasn't anything great, but he was extremely happy. So, he could go to his Rotary at the time or wherever he was in and say he had a website and put it on his card and all that kinds of stuff.
Nice. And so that kind of got, I mean, that's where you got bit by the bug right there.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Before that, in 92 or 3, I started doing the Prodigy, AOL, CompuServe, all those sites. And hey, welcome, Brian. We'll put your test comment up on the screen. This is a test. This is a test go live, so it feels fitting. Yeah, so I was flipping domain names. You got to understand, I was like 23. So I was buying some domain names that maybe I don't want to repeat nowadays. But at the time, it sounded like a really good idea. And I mean, I had 3-letter domain names in the adult category. You can guess. I bought a bunch of Fortune 100, Fortune 500 kind of companies' names before they owned them, and then I started getting these legal letters, and I had to transfer them over. They're threatening, and you got to understand, I was just out of school on a crappy government job, but I made a bunch of money flipping them. Oh yeah, way before that, my friend. Way before that one. If I was really smart, I would have never got rid of this one. Let me see here. Let me test the banner since this one.
Let me ask you, Brian, because I'm actually curious about this. We'll turn it into, now I get to interview you.
Yeah, why
not? So when did you? Because now you have, for those people that don't know, I'm sure everybody knows, right? Like now you have MediaMattTits.com.
That's what I bought. It seemed like a good idea when you're 23, dude. Seemed like a really good idea.
So people know, right? Like Media Match, that's your company, that's your agency now. When do you transition from, doing solopreneur to actually opening up an office and building a team, like a physical team?
Honestly, pretty late, Nick. I created this company in 99. I was doing it under like Brian Anderson marketing. Not that different than what you're doing, right? 96 to 99. And then let me see if I can find a. Do you see my screen right now, Nick, or no?
No, but if you just hit that share screen in the bottom, it'll pull it into the backstage area. Then you can pop it up.
I want to find something from a long time ago. Let's see. Oh man, I'm trying to show you guys something. It's old. I had this SEO company that I started in 99. It was called Peachtree SEO. And I had this cool image that somebody made me somewhere. And it's been gone a long time, but let's see. Hang on. Let's see. Ranking. Oh man, online. I want to see if I can find anything from way back then. This would be like the Wayback Machine. It might take me a second. Yeah. So anyway, so I was doing it freelance like everybody, and I got to be making a decent amount of money. And then what happened? I was too chicken to quit my job. Honestly, I was too chicken to quit my job. And it's not a bad thing, right? I mean, the reason being, I think I had some on Pinterest. Let me see if this, hey, if you can't tell oh, you don't see my screen. So I never did, Nick. Like I was so chicken. And I got to the point where I was making a lot of money. All right, let me find out how to come back. There, I was lost. I was on another. I bounced between. I was in software. I was bouncing between some jobs, moving up the ladder. So in '94 till about '97, I made this PDF document about dating. I didn't have a girlfriend, by the way, and we sold that on America Online using the profile name. I had 3 different accounts, and I created a little bot that would keep me logged on because it was all dial-up. And then I would log in and rotate, and it was a name like a lot of guys. It was almost all guys back then, and I'd have a blonde, a brunette, and a redhead, and different profiles. And guys are looking around, for these people, and then they would see the profile, which would take them a link to the sales page. And I did that for like 3 years while I was in grad school, and I made a little bit of money, $100 to $300 a day on average, which I'm not complaining. It was unbelievable, right? I mean, it was truly unbelievable. I did it with my friend, so even though I had done all the work, but it was his idea and mine together after a lot of beers. So we split everything every day. So, not as much as it sounds.
Right.
But yeah, so I'm freelancing, I'm building the various things, and I'm working at these software company jobs. I switched from developer to marketing, and I keep getting promoted and promoted and promoted. And, I'm making like mid six figures, and I kind of like it, but I never hit, like, at one point I was like, I'm going to be the CEO of one of these companies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Linda. I said, I'm going to be the CEO of one of these companies. And then I'm like, I got up to VP, and I wasn't feeling it, man. I would drive 45 minutes to my office. Until I was a VP, I had a cube, even when I was like a director at these companies. And it just sucked, man. I had to worry about how long I was at lunch. Like, I'm at an MBA, and I'm going to lunch. And if I'm gone like more than an hour and 10 or 15, when I would come back, I would feel like really uncomfortable that I was going to get in trouble. Like, it always used to feel that way.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just grew weary of it. I got laid off one time, and then I should have quit then, because I had over 15,000 a month at that time, but I didn't quit. I went to work at a competitor the following week because I wanted like payback, right? I was mad. I had a chip on my shoulder. I was angry, and so I opened an office in 2004, I guess is the long answer to that question. But it was small. It was like 800 square feet.
So when you left your job, did you go immediately to the office, or did you moonlight from home or have a little office at home?
And I stayed there a little bit. I think I'm getting buffering. Do you hear me or no?
I can now. Yeah. There's the first second.
Okay. Yeah. So when I left, when I got laid off, and it had happened on my honeymoon, I went back and I went to a competitor with a friend of mine was like my hiring manager, and I went there, but I didn't stay that long. My heart wasn't in it. I was, I'd already had the bug to go full-time online. And yeah, I started at an executive suites, and I rented just an office for myself. But I was like, damn, for $1,000 a month, I'm getting phone and secretarial and all this stuff. I don't need all that. So I got a place for $800, and it was just under 1,000 square feet, but it was real inexpensive. Nothing nice at all. But you know what? I had 2 other little mini offices. It was all like 3 little cut up small offices, like just bad. Like, if there's a class C, it's class C. Like, good stuff. This was weak. 30-year-old, area of old offices. But I could get decent internet back then. And anyway, no, I went there right away. I could have just worked out of my house, but I really was trying to meet people, meet clients, because you got to understand, I totally agree with this person. Yeah, corporate culture is a soul suck, right? And I wanted my own culture. I guess thank you for saying this, because this helps me. I wanted my own culture. I wanted to create a place with an Xbox. So I had Rock Band. I had a video game, like TV and stuff. And, I just wanted it to be my thing. I hired a sales guy like right away. Basically another guy I knew who had lost his job. And
was that the first person you hired?
What'd you say?
Was that the first position you
hired? Yeah, because I did everything, quote unquote technical or marketing. I did everything. And then I had some offshore people, but I hired this guy, Sean. And funny enough, who's my brother's name, but it wasn't my brother. It was a guy from Seattle who had moved to Atlanta, and super nice guy. And, he just didn't have the work ethic. I needed somebody that was hunter-gatherer, that was really going to crush it. Basically somewhere to get out of the house and hang out.
You wanted to play your Xbox.
Right? Yeah. He would come and hang out. And honestly, he was awesome. I love the guy, but it wasn't ideal at all. So I did that. And anyway, one thing led to another. What happened is I sold my SEO company to a guy I already knew. So it was an easy sale. They really wanted me to come work there. There was a software company that I knew, and they wanted me bad. They wanted me bad. And so I said, look, I've got this stream of business. I got these clients. I'm like, I'm willing to do that, but I need ownership because it was small. It was only like 10 people. I'm like, I need ownership. So they gave me 10% ownership. Now this is 2009, right? May of 09. And at the time, you know, I'm making a pretty good bit of money. I'd done an online product. I'm making decent money. Yeah. And I'm like, all right, so I take 10% ownership. It was out of Miami, which is fortuitous because that's how I ended up meeting Mario. So I would never have met Mario if it wasn't for this. So I then sell my SEO company to these guys, and I got paid, you know, 7 figures, a little over 7 figures, not an obscene money, not enough to quit. And you know, all right, that was it. So now I'm back in a small company where I'm a part owner, but 10% is like being an employee. Right. so
you guys were just doing SEO at that point, right? Like,
what'd you say?
Were you guys just selling SEO to businesses at that point?
Websites and local search. And I did AdWords, but I would say 75% local search, gotcha. 20% AdWord, maybe 5% website. I did a ton of websites in the 90s, maybe 01 to 02 or 03. But after that, people that were really good at websites were doing them, and it wasn't my thing. And honestly, I hated it. It was one-time fee business. It wasn't good. But I would sell the SEO because people wanted that. And at the time, man, everybody wanted this thing. They were calling, begging for help with SEO. And it was a lot of it's timing, right? Just like nowadays, there's things that are like super hot today. So yeah. So I sell the business. I get paid this money. I take over this product, which they had this software product I wanted, which was called Squareberry. And I took over ownership of this product. I was doing internet marketing. So imagine this. I'm making about $300K a year in internet marketing. I had this job with ownership at maybe $150K. So it's a lot of money. I mean, you know, it was a lot of money. But I'm like, why am I working there? You know, I liked the people, though. They were cool. You know, I really liked them. And I'd fly down to Miami twice a month, you know, and I'm hanging out with Mario. This is 2010 when I met him. And he's like, Brian, you're making all this money. Why do you even work there? And I'm like, well, because I was dreaming of the multi-7-figure stock payout is what I was dreaming of. That's what I wanted. And I was still running the business I sold. I was still running this SEO company now under their umbrella and still getting clients. And one day I was like, God, I feel like an employee, even though I'm a part owner. One guy owned like 60-70%, and the rest of us own little pieces of it. So the truth is I was nothing more than a glorified employee. And I'm like, I was done with that. Why did I do this? Why am I back here? And it wasn't corporate. It was startup culture. It was fun. But I walked away about a year and a quarter later, maybe year and a half. And it was Mario, really. If you want to know the truth, Mario's like, Brian, you have to quit. You know, and he's like, imagine all the stuff. He's like, you have to quit. It was amazing. I'm hanging out with him at a restaurant. We always met at restaurants. And he was working out of his apartment. No, he had a rental house with his fiance at the time, Maria. And we would always go out to eat together and talk marketing and stuff. And he had an SEO agency doing legal work, attorneys. And I was like, okay. I'm like, here's this dude from Germany that came to America with nothing, working as a front desk clerk, telling me, now you got to understand, I mean, I had a MBA, I had corporate, I'd worked at big IBM and Xerox. I was making, good money at the time. And I'm like, why does everything he says sound right and everything I'm doing sound wrong? And, it took 3 months of reassurance and, Pat, you can do it. You can do it. I was the worst action taker ever, you guys. But I did bank a lot of money because I didn't overspend or anything. So I was banking a lot of money. And then I walked away. So that's 9 years ago, the second time for forever. And so when I did that, that was January or February of 11, I think is when it was. It was weird because now I'm probably doing $50,000 a month in internet marketing. I think my agency was doing $35,000 a month. And I'm like, why was I scared to walk away again? And it was weird because I'm like, because I was going to lose health insurance. And I'm like, my health insurance sucked anyway. Dude, You make up, everybody, I bet you can relate. You make up excuses in your mind.
Oh yeah.
And I just made up reasons that I couldn't do it and it wasn't going to work. And then finally, one of my friends in corporate software, one of like the guys I would hang out with traveling, kind of like a guy like Jay Cruz, really cool dude, right? He goes, all of us are so jealous of you. If you don't quit, we're going to get you fired. You know, they're like, we're gonna get you in trouble. They're like, you got to go for it, man. You got this. And it was like, it took like all my friends plus Mario and to reassure me that I could do it. And then I walked away again the second time, and then I never went back, and it literally escalated. Like 4 months later, I hit north of 80,000 a month in just 4 months. It was growing exponentially, and everything was great. I was doing a little bit of IM still. I mean, nothing amazing. Kind of like I'd promote some. What do you call them? At the time, I would call them WSOs, but what do you call them now, Nick? Products that don't cost very much, low cost products. What do you call them? That's a setup. I know. It's a setup.
Warrior Plus product, I guess.
Warrior Plus. Okay, yeah.
What's interesting is that you started this thing, you sold it, you hung out as a partner, I guess.
Low end partner. Low end.
That must have been interesting to like hang out while everybody else is like kind of growing this thing that you started, and then being like, I got to get out of here, and then just leaving.
They were building. Now this is what they're doing now. They actually have landed like tons of big deals, and I mean, I would have made it. Honestly, had I stayed, I would have made. This is what we ended up doing. Necessity is the mother of invention, right? So, how do I share? Okay, I'm going to learn how to share the screen right now. Okay, share screen. All right, here goes. Hold on, you guys. Hold on. This is what they ended up doing, and I was around at the beginning. It was compliance solutions for the utility companies. So at the end of the day, small company, they landed a couple 7-figure deals. I would have made a lot of money. They never went public though, so I never would have made the money that I was waiting on, right? It never would have happened. So in hindsight, best thing I ever did. And then it just, once you get to escape velocity and you have marketing and stuff in place and you have some salespeople, getting from 25 to 50 is a joke. It's so easy. Mm-hmm. Getting from 0 to 10 is not a joke, and it's hard, and I know it. We all know it, right? Mm-hmm. But once you kind of have a system in place, so we have about 6,000 square feet right now. And I've got a cross-functional team. I've got some of the people Nick, like Vanessa and Tracy and Meredith and Nikki and Brandon and Nolan and Sean still a little part-time. I've got those guys doing some IM, some of the IM stuff. And then I've got Vanessa and Tracy are my only overlaps that also work on the agency side. What I discovered early on is that while I was able to bounce between two things, and they couldn't multitask.
Yeah.
And I was never able to have them do dual duty, so to speak.
I can see that.
So yeah, it's kind of it's exactly what happened. The craziest thing though is I was talking to Matt Basak Thursday or Friday, because I invited him to come to London in May, and I'm trying to nail down, is he going to come or not? Because I just want to be done with that discussion so people quit asking me. And I realized like he started in 98 or 99, Ryan Dice is 98 or 99. And I'm like, dang, if I had just stayed the course in 94, who knows what I would have been doing? You know what I mean? It's like, you don't know what direction your life unfolds. Yeah. And it's like, it would have been completely different.
Yeah.
But I was doing mostly online marketing, and then I got into the local. So I was doing half and half because I had these info products. I was doing back then. Traffic was easy. You guys, it's a field day. Like it's all so easy back then.
It sounds very like I can see where I am at currently in where you were at back then. You know, like my local agency, right? It does about 30,000 a month in
Dude, that's awesome, man.
Services. But I'm like you. I'm like, I make up all these things in my head and reasons to be afraid of trying to move to the next level. You know, for me, it's like, do I really want to open up get an office for $2,500? And I'm like,
it's a lot, dude.
It's a lot, but that's one SEO client. It's made up. Like,
well, but, okay, so I pay $5,500 a month for my rent.
Yeah, but you have like a mansion.
I have a lot more space, and I pay, let's call it $1,000 and a little over $1,000 utilities, internet. I think I got about $7,500 a month of overhead, of physical overhead.
Yeah,
and it's like, so all right, so I got to have that much revenue before I then can pay staff. I can then pay other things before I then make money. It's interesting. You have to get to a point where everything justifies. Otherwise, all the money you're making is going out the window in these expenses. Like if you don't take it, if you just stay where you are, you're going to be pissed because now you're losing all this money. You need to like use it to leapfrog you to whatever the next point might be, 10, 15,000 more. And if you don't, keep it small, like that 2,500. I was talking to internet marketer. Some of you guys will know Jack Mize. And I was having lunch with him, 2 years ago in San Diego. And awesome guy. And he's like, Brian, you got to keep it small. You got to, don't, he was worried about how many staff I had built up. He's like, you got to, and I had like 20 something people in the Philippines. And he's like, you got to tone it down. You don't need all that. And he's like, you need 1, maybe 2 people, 3 at the most. But he's like, just 2. You don't need any more than that. And I'm like, he's adamant. He's like, he said, keep it small, keep it all. And
I like that.
For anybody listening, right? It's it's important. Hey, Ron, I wanted to share that. So anyway, Jack's super smart, really wise guy, and it made me think. And there's been many times when I said, my house is really big. I mean, relative to what I need, right? And I'm like, why don't I work in my office at home? Like, let's use David Sprague as an example. David doesn't work at his office. He works out of his house. His house is big. He works out of his office in his house, right? Yeah, house is big, right? Yeah, me too. I've got the same thing. I've got a lot of house. I can work wherever I want. And I'm like, why do I drive to work? And I'm like, that separation, though, it gives me peace of mind. Like when I go to work, I'm there by 7:15, 7:30 in the morning, 2:30 Hawaii time, a.m. And then I stay to about lunch, 11:30, 12. I go and eat. And then I come back. If I'm doing internet marketing stuff, usually there might be a 1 or 2 o'clock webinar. And then after that, I may stay an hour. And then I go home and I just turn everything off. Because if I don't give myself that separation, it's like the days never end and it's 18, 20-hour days. And
that's where I'm rolling into right now. I don't have that separation for church and state, if you will. And I think that and as I get older, fiance, engaged now, I think I will absolutely, I'm seeing where it's going to make a big difference and come into play. The question is really just like how to execute it. And for me, I think, like you said, there's got to be a reason to kind of move the needle. For me, I'm going to follow your lead. I'm going to, get the space, get a salesperson, first hire I would make, because fulfillment's not.
That's what you need. You need somebody who brings in revenue, Nick. Everybody else, they don't need to be in your office.
Yeah. Well, and like we've been talking about all week, I mean, the fulfillment side, that's easy, right? Like I'll figure that out. If we get the sales guy goes crazy and gets way more clients than we can even deal with, like we'll figure out the fulfillment, right? I'm not going to have a problem with that.
And if you structure the sales guy's compensation right, they will do that for sure.
What's a good pay structure?
We'll save it. I gotta go to bed in a minute.
All right.
We'll go down that rabbit hole. Now that I know how to do this, we can. I'll send you what I use so you have it. But
it's funny because this is like genuinely information that I want to get from you and everybody. There's like people on this call. I can't see how many people are.
I can't
funny.
either. 15 people right now. 15. I just found it.
Well,
Somebody. All right. So somebody asked me what Lead Factory was. You guys, this is just a hangout, but I just typed this. If you haven't seen it, it's like I'm saying $20, but that's actually not true. It's somewhere between 20 and $30, you guys. And yeah, so Nick, Tom, and I built this product that we were going to sell on webinar for $497, and I wanted to sell it for $997, but Tom was adamant. So Nick was just being the peacekeeper, and then finally we started talking about it. And anyway, we split it into two. There is an upsell, and so we divided the product in half, and the front end is like roughly $25-$30, and the back end is maybe the same roughly. And it's about getting clients, because if you don't have any clients, everything else we're talking about is kind of silly. It's a hobby. It's a waste of your time, really. So this style of meeting is more valuable from. Oh, no, I don't understand, but yeah. So I've never been on the shark calls other than today. I was on with Nick for a few minutes, but no, I will tell you, I'm in their Shark Alliance group. It's a good group, you guys. If you're not in,
Ron is like, I mean, he is a hardcore shark, like to the T. So
nice.
The fact that he's getting value out of just kind of you and I hanging out here.
Oh yeah, we're just sitting around. Like, I mean, really just sitting around.
Yeah, that's awesome, Ron. So we appreciate that for sure.
And you guys, I'll get Tom and Nick to do a webinar on AGM so we can really go into it and make sure it makes sense. But I guess I don't know how much it is. Nick, do you know how much AGM is? That's a high end product, right?
Yeah, it's $997. So if you want to go to our website, it's $997. But if we
can get a deal, maybe.
Yeah, you guys follow Brian. Like, of course, Brian, we'll do a webinar in the next couple of weeks or something. Is that okay, Brian?
Yeah, for sure. No, let's line it up. I don't know about you guys, anybody listening right now, but or who hears this on the replay, it's hard to find good stuff to promote that you can feel good about. And what I like about Tom and Nick is, Nick's doing several $100,000 a year. Tom's doing, probably something similar. I don't know how much, and they have different agencies, and my agency's different. And at the end of the day, that's what's cool. That's what's cool. So I think, and that's what got us working together, is we became friends at some point, and we were hanging out. We're in a mastermind. I invited them into a mastermind I had because I knew they were authentic, they were real, and we were hanging out in Spain. And I said, this is was it April?
Almost a year ago.
Yeah, April, a year ago, you guys. And yeah, I'm just clicking on the button. You guys, I'm learning how to use this straight up. So I'm sorry if I keep flashing your messages. But it's really cool to use, by the way. So like a year ago, we're hanging out in Spain, and I met Sloan and Tom's wife, Miranda. And then we were talking about building this product around what we were kind of all doing similarly but different. And so my focus was always email to get client. And Tom and Nick were doing this landing page strategy session to kind of only talk to qualified clients. And it just made sense. So we kind of built it together circa November, December, and we were going to start doing webinars this spring. And then instead we decided to do the lower cost version so that anybody who wanted it can buy it. It wasn't really about making a lot of money. I mean, I might make $10,000 where I would have made $500,000 on webinar side. So we're
trying to grow our communities. I mean, really, it's about helping people level up. I think that's a important piece for all of us. We kind of came together on all fronts, and something like this, I think it brings everybody up around us. The more other people have with us, I mean, the better it is for everybody. So, it's a whoa.
Which button should I use? Which one of these buttons do you use, Nick?
I like this one.
This one here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So Ron was asking, is this format all in StreamYard? Yes, Ron. So
yep.
a few different pages and sites, and it's broadcasting kind of like a simulcast, well, called a multicast live. And yeah, it's super easy to use, right, Mike? Yeah, I was hitting the wrong button. And it's easy. A lot of the other ones like this don't really work as smooth. And this was a test the waters. I was going to do a Q&A, kind of a strategy call, maybe tomorrow at 2. And before I did it, I wanted to know how to use it. And Nick was kind enough, especially since it's only 5 p.m. I guess it's dinner time for you, and I'm thinking about going to bed. But just show me how to use it. And so that's kind of what happened. So
I think if anybody on this call likes this, and you guys have ideas for things that you want to talk about, you should make sure to put them in the comments so Brian sees those and has some ideas for some of the streams that he has coming up, because I know obviously he likes it. So give him some topics, things you want to get information from him from. I think he'd be kind enough to share that with you on this channel, which is awesome. I mean, look at some of the information I got to pull from him, like just in a short few minutes.
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about this tonight, Nick. That was crazy. I was honestly, my wife bought Girl Scout cookies today from somebody after church, so I'm thinking about going and scoring a few of those and then crashing out.
It's funny, that guy I was telling you about before the stream that we're gonna go to Taco with, he's like the prime candidate for Girl Scout cookies. Like, he comes walking out of the store and they see him, they're like, get him. He came home the other day with 30 boxes. 30. I'm like, dude.
All right, straight up, thank you for whoever wrote this, but I don't know who you are. But thank you and hello. Yeah, I bought 5 today. Yeah, right. Cookies. I bought five today, so it's super cool. I mean, I think it's talk about a brand, a product that's lasted. It's going nowhere.
They must make a lot of money, right?
Yeah, I can only imagine. I remember they were like $2 though, but now I think I paid $4 a box, maybe.
Wow,
$4 or $5 a box. I don't know exactly how much it was, but it was somewhere in that ballpark for sure. Well, listen, you guys, I appreciate everybody who came. We were going to do like 15 minutes as a test, but since a bunch of people showed up, we ended up staying and chatting. And if you were on earlier, I wouldn't say it was a ton of value. It was really honest, candid discussion, but that's okay. And we chatted with Ron a little bit and Mike and a few others. And we talked a little bit about Agency Growth Machine, a little bit of how I finally got enough courage to quit my job and be full-time. Talked about Nick, what was the first thing he did as he transitioned from his previous career. And more than anything, we played around with StreamYard to figure out how it works. So super cool. Now, Nick, just so I understand it, if I hit end broadcast, it buttons everything up, and I don't have to do anything, right?
Yeah, you just hit end broadcast.
I'm making sure, because otherwise I'm probably gonna kill it, right?
Yeah, don't like close your screen. Just hit end broadcast. It'll say loading, and then it'll be done. You'll see. Just hit end broadcast. Look at Cameron.
Uh-oh. Cameron, look at that. That's got to be is that a wedding picture or no?
Cameron just got married not too long ago. Yep.
Nice.
What did you call me earlier, Cameron? Said I was when we did that 2-hour stream earlier. I don't know, some radio caster. I forgot. I'm drawing a blank.
It's all good. Well, listen, sorry if I kept you, and I apologize. We spent a whole hour like this, but thank you very much, and everybody else. Thank you, guys. We're gonna do a pretty cool. I got something I've been wanting to do. We're gonna do it tomorrow at 2. I'm gonna send a bot message out. I think might be the easiest way in the morning. So Nick, I schedule it for 2. I'll be able to grab the link out of here in the scheduled area, and then I put that in my bot message, and then everybody will know. And pretty easy, right?
Yeah. I would go to the page that you want it to push the most reach. That way, everybody that you send them to, they're putting their comments on that post, right? and you can pull in people organically that they're friends with and they're connected with on Facebook, so you can really kind of syndicate
When
it
you
up.
say go to the page, because I started this one from inside the StreamYard website. Are you saying start it from inside that page?
Well, when you schedule it from within StreamYard, it'll set up an event on the specific pages, and it'll say Brian is going to go live at this time. Get reminded, right? In that group, on that page, on YouTube, on LinkedIn. So if you're going to go to Facebook and you want to send the bot link to that stream on Facebook, go to that group and click the date on that post that says they're going to go live, and you can copy that link. I'll show it to you later.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, Mike, it'll be more Q&A, some shares, some strategy. Totally cool, man. Nail down that appointment, way better. Awesome. All right, well, some interest in AGM, so maybe we can chat for just a second, maybe set something up. And oh yeah, I get it, Ron. I totally get it. How do I do it? There it is. Nope, wrong button. Here we go. This is the middle of my day. So this is good, Ron, right? Better than 4 a.m. Oh, yeah, I get it. I totally get it. I see both sides. Awesome. Well, everybody is here. Thank you, as we're going to end this. And I'm going to go to bed. And Nick, you know the key word. Well, I'll tell you when we get off the call. You'll know. All right, everybody. Well, have a great day, and hope you had a nice weekend. And we will see you tomorrow. We're going to do a real one of these. I'm going to put some content, and hope you can make it. And if not, catch the replay if it makes sense for you, if it fits into your schedule. Otherwise, Nick, big shout out, and I'm gonna go all Hawaiian on you. Mahalo.
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 Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for having us, or me.
Thank you. And goodbye, everybody.